This week on RSBANDB Update, graphical rendering changes improve RuneScape's rough and shiny materials. Havenhythe drop rates are revealed, but is one specific item too rare? Finally, Dungeoneering patch notes may have just answered the big question. How do you balance XP? This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1091, recorded Thursday, May 28th, 2026. A sanguine crawl over drop rates. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, Pernasius is here, everyone's second favorite Australian.
G'day all.
I got a comment once in the shows, why do we call you that? What was the story there?
We were having a chat, and we had a visitor in our RSBANDB chat, Bits Bytes, if anyone wants to jump in on the game. And he's saying, "Oh yeah, just found the show, really loving it." And I said, "Oh, who's your favourite Aussie commentator?" Because obviously I'm the only one there. He goes, "Oh, I really love Tannis." I go, "Okay, thanks. So I'm second best." So Tannis is the favourite Aussie, even though from Midwestern America.
And that is how the meme was born, everybody.
Yes.
But of course, this week we got the graphical rendering changes, some Dungeoneering patch notes, and drop rates for the early Havenhythe creatures and Fleshhatcher Macarnaz. Yeah, that's an interesting name to say.
You said that well.
I know, it's almost as if I practiced it before we gathered here tonight. But full show notes can be found over at update.show. The Friends chat can be found in game at Bits Bytes, as you mentioned. And we do have a community Discord over at update.show/Discord. That includes us, many of the people you hear on the show, and a good portion of the people who support this podcast week by week and effectively make it go. That includes our experienced tier Patreon members, who are Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Kiski, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A, Sioasis, Smalvin, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. You'll hear more about our Patreon offerings a little bit later in the podcast. But of course, let's begin with some graphical rendering changes. And I think the best thing to do for this portion of the show is to just show people.
Show it off.
Just show people what we're looking at here.
And these are amazing. The as you were saying, the light points now. Really.
So big changes on the reflection stuff. And the reason I chose this is because this torch is acting as a point light, which means that it is going to cast light on to what we're wearing. And before, if we were looking at this, you'd have kind of like a muddy presentation of how the borders around the edges and some of the finer details of the items would be. Like specifically, like if we look at this Saradomin chest piece here, the arc above the Saradomin symbol, before that you would have been having a little bit of distortion in there, but it's completely gone now, and you can see that it does it on both sides of the armor.
Yep.
And this is all to do with roughness and just effectively refining how that light hits and bounces off. Zant did want to be here for this episode, but he came down sick today, and was barely able to speak, so he's not here this week for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the things that definitely stand out here on this, and then maybe just have a bit of a brief look at the technical side of it here. But another one that really jumped out for me was this reforged gilded armor set, and I can really take it up to the next level with this one here. Look what I have equipped. I have the golden party hat. I honestly, if I could find a golden cape, I would run this.
Yeah, what's the you've got the superhero cape, haven't you? The golden. RS superhero
Oh,
cape.
didn't they do a golden cape at some point too?
Yeah, that superhero cape.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, there you go. You got an actual golden cape. Now let's see what it looks like from behind. Yeah, straighten up. That's it. Wow, that actually goes. Oh, that goes well. It's almost like they planned it for that outfit.
Yeah, and you know, we got this in 21 and 22, and you know,
Mm,
it looked okay at various points, but it wasn't as crisp before.
mm.
That's the other way, you know, that I look at this. Um, should this be my new outfit?
I like it. But I mean, that's it. I mean, with that pinpoint lighting and your reflection, as you said, where you're going around. I mean, what's in shadow is in shadow. It should be, and it's glinting off those highlighted parts that they've. I'm not. I don't really care that much about avatars and that look and such, but they have done a phenomenal job on that, and I might even start getting into a bit of Fashionscape now
Yeah,
myself.
I didn't have
I'll probably.
one of these planted on the main, but this is what my golden money tree looked like on the Gib.
Ah, yep.
So, obviously, it's going to be more crisp in game with an actual uh, presentation rather than screenshot. But, I think I kind of like this.
That is a good looking outfit.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to show off in relation to this was how they made some changes to things that were effectively rough around the edges, as they say. Do you remember? You probably don't remember this because this was a very subtle detail where these things first started appearing. Is that the roughness on these handrails here at the Archaeology Guild at one point, these were a lot more shiny than they are now. So what this update also did is it let things like this handrail here really just appear as more of a polished stone rather than a shiny stone. So you can have effectively this ultra shiny, cape setup that I'm wearing, or you can have something that's a little bit more middle of the road here, like you have at the Archaeology Guild. So that's another place you can see these things.
Different gradients of shine.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. As it was explained to me, it's effectively a number between 0 and 1, and the closer that number gets to 1, the more shiny and reflective your item is. Another one that was changed was these little rings around the barrels, as an example. We don't typically think to look at this, but lo and behold, if we just go really up close here to these things, you would think that the rings around these barrels are just, effectively chosen to be like that, but this was something else that benefited from this update. So,
yep.
There's that side of it too.
Makes it a bit more immersive and sort of that detailed look. It's sort of, I like it. I mean, as I said, I can take or leave these type of things, but they have really done a fantastic job, and I think it just sort of makes the game a little more immersive, a little more fun to look around at things.
Well, yeah, that's the entire thing. Because,
in and
like this one before, and this was one of the offending areas that they highlighted when they were doing their blog post, is that you would have been able to effectively see a little line of glow around the character.
Yes.
In this exact same spot here. But now instead, what you're getting is you're getting twofold. One, you're getting a reflection of the sky off the front bit here. But if you turn it around, you're just getting the reflection.
It was funny.
From this
if anyone
here.
had noticed when the NPC walked past, that golden outline was still around her.
Oh, really?
It was good timing when you come in. I just noticed that she walked past you. She had looked like, oh no, she's not coming back. As she walked past, she had that golden outline around her as she walked past you.
Yeah.
right at the start of the clip here. So that's sort of what you were talking about.
And I'm getting really
Our
excited
character.
for the avatar rework with these changes.
I must say I sort of am now as well after what I've seen this week. I mean, I was sort of a take it or leave it type person on it. I said, yeah, it'll be good when it comes in, but it's not something I'm going to be super excited about. But no, I think I am really interested to see how they've done it now and how far they have gone, because that lighting this week has really made a difference,
Yeah,
especially on top
absolutely.
of what we got with the Dungeoneering a couple of weeks ago. So
Oh, just in terms of like the area rework and whatnot.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and if we go back to when they were uh, highlighting what the actual technology was going to be behind this in the blog post, what it effectively said was that it was just some fine tuning along the edges to try and remove those things that were being a little bit egregious there on that.
Mm.
So obviously, at this point, the RuneScape website has stopped working, so I can't pull up that post from April. But we'll just leave it at that for that. And they also said that the eagle-eyed might have noticed that these changes were in effect during the Avatar beta, and with that, they go live here. One thing I did notice as well, and I don't necessarily know if this is an impact of it, but things like the untrimmed skill capes, they look a little bit more smooth and fabric-like this week. I don't necessarily know if that's something that has an impact, maybe on the saturation side of it, but and this example right here is a really good one of this Zerosian outfit, where you can actually see that the armor piece looked plastic, but now it actually looks more metallic here.
Yep.
With that one, and obviously the big blue glow around the carrot is gone.
Yeah.
I still want this carrot outfit. I was a bit disappointed they didn't put that in any of the stores this Easter.
Wasn't that a reward a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it came from Treasure Hunter.
Ah, that's
Yeah, it
right.
came from Treasure Hunter.
Hmm.
Shadows and that
That's
again
right. I
might
think I got the gloves and the feet.
might impact the cape on that.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, it makes the world feel a lot better, and I think we're all going to be in a good spot to bring that Avatar rework into reality when that arrives in a couple of weeks' time after Quest Week. But and then here out in the desert sun again. Like this is just looking good, and I don't necessarily know if I should be being sold to something here that's this shiny, but I think I am. I think I am on this.
Shane wants to play Prince Charming in the
I mean,
golden outfit.
it doesn't look it doesn't look gaudy, does it?
No, that's what I mean. It actually it looks good because of the way the light the light shadow mixes. It actually looks quite good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to somewhere darker. I'm gonna go to Sentistan for this, and we'll see what that does there, and then we'll move on to our next thing of drop rates and whatnot. Which
Actually, good to see what it looks like in Mauritania too.
Sentistan. Yeah, Mauritania, because that's always been notorious
Murky.
with that.
Hmm.
So again, we're in the light here at the dig site. But if I move down, just like right here.
Yeah, the shadows, the little glints off it.
So
picking
it's
up just
actually picking
little
up
points.
the purple
Yep.
other tones that are inside the game world with that. That's actually really neat.
They have done really well.
Yeah. You said Mauritania?
Yeah, have a look at Mauritania, because that's traditionally a very murky area. Unless you have it turned off.
So that's
So you got just like the
looking
moonlight
away
or
from the light, and then the back
Mm.
towards the light there.
Yeah, no, that looks.
It still looks gold.
They've done really well.
It's
It
definitely not.
does, but again,
It's not bringing the environment in like it used to.
hmm.
Maybe I will be the person that you will see running around your RuneScape world in an all golden outfit. Hmm.
We'll call him Prince Shining.
Oh God, maybe not. I don't know if I like that. Okie dokie.
Or just Shane Charming.
No. Oh, no. Okay. Boss rates for the drop rates for the Flesh Hatcher and the Havenhythe bosses. So, for Flesh Hatcher Mekarnaz, a 1 in 64 to roll a reward. Then it's a 50-50 whether you receive the Dragon Harpoon or the Stalker's Charm.
Yep.
So not too terribly uncommon there for that one.
Nah.
1 in 800 for the pet with a threshold of 200, which is fine given how quick that boss dies. So nothing really to write home about there. Ivar is 1 in 32, then it's 50-50 to either receive the Bone Crusher Maul or Magic Skull Mask. Which is
Sounds
weird
about
because
right,
we
really common.
Okay. I was wondering about that, if those masks were common enough.
Yeah, well, I think I got 6 mauls before I actually got my mask, but the drop rate seems pretty much on. It did take me about 500 odd kills to get the mask, but I had received 5 or 6 Bone Crusher mauls before that, so the drop rate seems about right.
All right. 1 in 1250 for the pet with a threshold of 250.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, pets, that's adequate.
So, Silver Quill the Dreadhog. Each kill you have a 50% chance to receive Sanguine Spines, otherwise you get Silver Spines, and the pet is 1 in 1,000. Sure. Now, the Sanguine Crawlers. These are a level, I think we said, I'm just going to double check my number here. I feel like I want to say 31, but no, they're level 28 Slayer.
And 43 combat.
43 combat, about 7,000 life points. Vampyrism Gloves are 1 in 500 well on task. 1 in 500 for the Vampyrism Gloves. For a present GE value of about 10.4 mil, going up, so probably higher than that. And the Vampyrism Gloves are designed to occupy a space to tide people over until they get the vampirism aspect. Do you see a problem here?
Well, as we discussed, it's being such a low-level creature.
The 1 in 500.
Yeah, you'll be well through.
Through it before
that level 28. Yeah, you'll probably be over 28 before you even start getting these anyway. But still, 7,000 lives points isn't bad. It's going to be a nice place just to go and kill things if you are sort of more mid-level to get.
But let's be honest. The question:
10 million...
who uses Vinaka or Manstjana for their Slayer
Well,
masters?
exactly right. You go through those fairly quickly.
Like, I feel like Kaeldar, Duradel, Kuradel, those are the main Slayer masters everybody ends up using. The fairy one.
Well,
and even the Raptor nowadays, right?
Yeah, Well, I'm using Raptor at the moment because I'm trying to get a Dark Onyx core. But
my condolences.
I didn't do a lot with Cheldar. I went from Vinaka pretty much to waited until I got what's her name in
Simona.
In the desert, Simona.
Yeah, Simona.
Yep. I didn't do a lot with Cheldar just because back then, running to a fairy ring, going to there was sort of a pain in the neck before we got the easier way just to go straight to straight to the moon now. But yeah, Mashnar, sorry, is the one I use, the one in Canifus, and because he's right beside the lodestone, he was so easy. Yep, bang, 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 bang. He was the easiest one to use. Vanaki used to be down inside the tunnels, which was a pain in the neck until
Yeah.
they moved him out
So,
just above. But yeah,
and that's the reason I asked if there's a problem, is because you move past these Slayer Masters so quick, and with it being a 1 in 500, after people are done their pet hunt and are done their log hunt, who effectively is going to be killing these and providing these gloves to go into the economy? And
Iron
is
Man
and
will
is
be
10 mil, let's just say, be generous and say 10 mil for a level 25 defensive set of equipment gonna be worth it? Or are you better off just rushing for desert treasure and unlocking ancients and getting vampirism that way?
pretty much. But I mean, again, as I said, it's Iron Man will probably use this. 10 mil is not a lot of GP in RS3 these days. It's a nice little. It'll be a nice little wow moment drop for people in that sort of lower
I
area.
can
But
imagine. Like, imagine you're, just starting off Slayer and you go to either
exactly,
of those masters and you manage to luck out on these.
get a 10 mil drop, you're going to be wow, that's fantastic. But yeah, once you get up into your 80s and 90s, well, obviously it's just going to be whatever. But I mean, they have a place.
Yeah.
Uh,
My only fear is that I worry that there won't be enough of a supply of these coming in with just how fast people will move past them and with the initial rush of, logging the Slayer creature by the Slayer masters like yourself to be done.
But there's no issue with that either, because it does, as we said, for those lower level players, for you and me, 10 mil is nothing. But for someone who is, maybe a level, 45, 50 combat, a 10 mil drop is a big wow moment, and keeping that sort of value of 10 or 11 mil, I think, I don't see a real issue, because they're probably not something I'd ever worry about using myself, because I mean, it's a tier 25 hybrid armor piece. I'll be through tier 25 so quick. I mean, I'm using tier 50s and 60s and such. So
yeah, and I just wanted to highlight that as a potential, issue with this in terms of just the supply side of it, because, I don't know if there's an issue right now, but I can kind of see the writing on the wall of that maybe being an issue with this drop, and it kind of creating the sense that, I mean, it's just an item that really, doesn't serve a purpose in that case, if that's the boat that it ends up in. But
at least they didn't say we had to have those gloves to be able to cast a vampirism spell for an hour.
That'd be good.
So be thankful for that.
That's a good point. And again, Ancient Spellbook level 69 magic only, which isn't too difficult to get. And, you might say you have issues with soul runes if you're an iron, but if you're a main, this is just almost easier to get than those gloves. So that's part of the reason why I have the concern about that. But
well, that's it. But there are people who maybe don't want to go and do all the desert treasure, all the desert quests to be able to do that. So it'll be fine for them. But, it's, I still hold issue that it is locked to that magic spell book, but we've had that discussion, and it is what it is now. Now that they have made it, you can do it for an hour. They have
that kind of
smooths
the issue out there.
But I mean, to unlock ancient magics is still a fair task.
Oh yeah, and desert treasure. I mean, I remember telling a story when I was doing this on the GIM that in terms of getting the 4 diamonds, I probably spent the same amount of the time on the diamond that required lockpicks and thieving that I did on the other 3.
Yeah, I think by the time I did it, my thieving level was up around 90 already. So because I rushed 90 thieving so I could unlock ports.
Right.
So
and,
when I did
and of course playing to the Australian namesake.
Exactly. pack of thieves down here.
All right. Yeah, but I just wanted to highlight that just in case anybody else had similar thoughts on that, or let me know if I'm off base on that. I hope I am. But the Tainted Seed pet drop there is 1 in 2,500 or 1 in 1,250 while on task. So I mean, again, if you're out there hunting that pet, you're gonna get a couple of these drops. So
yeah. It just seems funny that the Slayer creature has a lower chance of getting the pet than the Dreadhog, which is a boss.
Well, the Dreadhog is at 1 in 1,000. Oh, you're saying it seems funny that the boss has a higher chance than the Slayer creature.
Has a lower, you've got only 1 in 1,000 there, but you got 1 in, well, unless you're on task, 1 in 2,500 or 1 in 1,250 while on task. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
But this is from a guy who took 38,000 kills to get the penny pet. So from
which one is that?
That's the one from the what are they called? You've got to have the 115 Dungeoneering area opened in Prifddinas. What are they called? The oh jeez, I can't remember the name of them. Edamus, yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Pet, yeah. The Eddie Pet down there.
Okay.
38,000 kills. It took me to get Eddie. Penny was someone else.
Oh my god.
But at least I could cannon down there, so.
And that's right, you can cannon these things too. Remember, that was the plague on the first week in a bit of Havenhythe there.
Which is why I still haven't actually done them on any of my accounts, because I went down there, cannons there, yep, I'm going to leave that for a while. Cannon, I mean, I still say cannons should be banned on any new drops like that for the first month or two.
And I mean, we question, OSRS questions the usability of cannons in all the places, and we just fully leaned into it by adding melee and magic cannons with invention.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yes.
All right, I'm going to thank some Patreon supporters right now because you guys have just finished voting on the monthly bit, and the monthly bit that they chose for this next month is a bit of a different one, a bit of a meta one. We're going to be looking at the road to restoration so far, what it's brought to the game, and where we think that's going to take the game in, believe it or not, the second half of 2026, because as soon as we're done June, that's half of this year done.
Yeah.
Already. Half of the road to restoration roadmap done too on that. So that was kind of a big deal for the year. And we're kind of just I feel like I'm just easing into, what this year is gonna be. So it'll be interesting to take stock of that and have a discussion on that. But this week in particular, I'd like to thank Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Bladecom, Chilbura, Dominic R, Duramax, Forceful Turd, Gila Fleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Matt Man, Mighty Myth, Michelle M, Mike Wings, Mongrath, Parnassius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Samuel FL, Sanguine RX, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Psy Oasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, Squidman 8, The Naked Captain, The Davin Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazacon. Of course, you can learn more about our Patreon offerings over at patreon.com/RSBANDB. Their offerings start for as little as $1 a month. All you do is go there, sign up, and you gain access to the entire back catalog of monthly bits. Soon to be 94 of them, I think. I think we're on number 94. Soon to be 94 of them. Covering all ranges of topics related to RuneScape. And last week we released the Dungeoneering monthly bit out to the public to let people see what a full-blown Dungeoneering rework could be. We had some comments on that on YouTube, so thank you for sharing that. But we've done so many other monthly bits as well, and it's definitely one of the things that people come to the podcast for. The most recent ones being, of course, Prestige Mode and Completionism in RuneScape, but so many other things too, like archaeology. Looking back on that 5 years later, we did that last year. We've talked about the Sixth Age. We've talked about level 110 skills. We've done tier lists. We've done everything. It's all there. So if you want access to that back catalog, you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. Or if you want to give a little bit more to the podcast, we do have our community tier as well at $3 a month. And with that, you get a monthly shout out on the show, access to high quality stereo versions of it, and of course from time to time via the chat we'll ask you for your ideas if you have any monthly bit topics, if you want to submit ideas for us to talk about on quiet weeks, and of course our community days, which we just did one last Sunday. We all just gather in Discord for that and discuss anything that's really on our mind, and I think we went for about an hour and a half. We had a few folks join us there, so thank you for that. It's just a good time to just kind of see what everybody's thinking and where we're all at and share our thoughts with one another. We do that every other month or so. Then we also do have our insider tier, where for $5 a month you get a weekly shout out on the show and access to our expanded clip archive and the outtakes that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. And of course, with that, you'll also have the opportunity to receive the RSBANDB update Christmas card at the end of the year. So patreon.com/RSBANDB. Thanks so much, everybody. Your support means a ton to us.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Moving on to some patch notes then.
Yes.
They're focusing on Dungeoneering here.
Still?
Yep, still. There's still a focus
Which
on
is
Dungeoneering.
Good.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that, as we don't want to see them just put something and forget it. If it needs it, if they're getting feedback that they're sort of just going back and tweaking things, I like that.
Players now have 2 bind slots available for ammo while Dungeoneering.
So you put your ectoplasm in there now?
I did. And I also have arrows bound, but there's also 3 other necromantic runes that...
Yes, which I sort of forgot about.
that I'd like to use. So it's like you bind ectoplasm, then if you want to use the incantations with necromancy, you got to find some impure essence and just craft those at the start. Or you can just take one step back and not use necromancy at all and not have to worry about that.
Yeah. Which I still use magic down there. So, but I mean, before we had all sort of the updates, I mean, we used to always have to make our sort of our runes, our lore runes and such for our teleports, and then you get the tasks done and you have those.
I thought I had those bound, and I looked on my binds and I was trying to figure out, where are these laws and cosmics coming from? But no, it's the it's the medium Dungeoneering task set.
Correct. So maybe these necrotics can be sort of another reward that we get, at least the basic ones, the bone and the flesh and the bone ones, and then you only have to make the blood ones later on.
I mean, why not just add it to the hard and elite tasks?
Exactly.
So at the hard you get the first 2, and the elite you get the other ones in an amount.
I would like to see
would work.
That. Yep.
Because it would just
it's a quality of life,
right,
rather than
if you're gonna if you want to do ranged in Dungeoneering, you bind some arrows. Done.
Yep.
But if you want to do necromancy, you bind the ectoplasm. But then you got to worry about making runes every run.
Exactly.
Which isn't
or
really
do it like
fun if you're
like the weapons.
going.
Like with your magic weapons. I mean, our runes are pretty much our air and fire runes, and that are already pretty much bound to the staff anyway, so why not just bind them to the weapon the same way magic is, so you don't really require the runes.
And maybe this is opening up a can of worms, but why not just have a series of charge bows in there as well, so you don't need to worry about ranged ammo? Just have an option for any of the styles to not worry about ammo. But maybe that's taking away a bit of the RP aspect from some people.
I've got my I've got my I think it's Prometheum arrows or already bound. I haven't got 99 range yet, but I've got my 125 bound that I sort of got as the drop. Yep, keeping those. It tells me every time I log in, you don't have 99 range to use these, so they just go into the into the bag and such. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you should have to make those runes and sort of waste a couple of minutes every dungeon.
Yeah, especially if they want Necromancy to feel like a first-class citizen in Daemonheim.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
they also added bound ammo to the bind setup interface, so you can actually see it on the slots now, and it's not part of the other thing taking up the main bind slots there, so that's good. The ectoplasm produced per ritual has been increased from 6 to 12, so again, leading into that idea that we're going to need more ectoplasm for Dungeoneering. Necrotic runes in Dungeoneering also now have multi-craft based on your RC level, so they were ignoring that before. The Impure Essence icons has been recolored. You can also buy Impure Essence from the Smuggler, and Impure Essence now appears on tables in the starting room, so you can just grab some with that and not necessarily need to go and buy it. So that's the Dungeoneering side. I don't know if I have anything else to say on this. Have you been back?
I'm trying to run a couple of rooms every night on Dungeoneering. I just hit 97, so I'm enjoying a lot more. I did prefer the XP I was getting that first couple of days, 850 times. Now I'm back down to 500, but I mean, I still can't work out. I can sort of work out optimal run, but I mean, where the keys are, and I wish when I clicked on a key, because I'm so coming back from OSRS, I'm just used to clicking on something, picking it up and running, not opening up an interface. So I've missed a couple of keys. I'm going, well, hang on, I had that key, and then I've got to go running back to find it.
I mean, you could reconfigure your drop
yes,
loot system for that.
I know. But yeah.
They say they'll also be continuing to review the XP differences while soloing Dungeoneering. They understand that the recent shift in XP weighting towards bonus rooms has had the greatest impact on solo players, which is true.
Yeah. It definitely has.
But currently, the XP gap between casual, average, and highly skilled players is significant. As a result, improving solo rates enough to feel rewarding for casual players can quickly create balance issues at higher skill levels. Because of this, they're taking some additional time to ensure any adjustments are implemented correctly.
I mean, I'm running the 45 to 50 rooms. I'm getting 120 odd XP a room. Sorry, a floor. Yeah, sort of the room, a floor, I should say. Which, yeah, okay, it still takes me 25, 30 minutes to do, but still that's decent XP.
And what level are you?
For the time I take. I'm level 97. So say I'm getting 500k an hour. Yeah, okay, if I was one of those high level ones, I could be doing 2 mil an hour, but I think 500k an hour is more than adequate. 250, anywhere between 250 and 500k. I'm happy with what I'm getting. I mean,
especially when you consider that solo, right?
That's solo, yeah. I'm doing it solo, and I'm not speed running like everyone else. I do tend to open pretty much all the rooms, but yeah, I play it because I enjoy it, not because I want to get there as fast as possible. Yes, I want my max cape, but I also want to enjoy my time traveling to get that max cape. So I'm finding. And being able just not to worry about those low-level rooms, that I can just go, 45 to 50, 45 to 50, 45 to 50, and I'm getting the same. I'm not getting any XP penalties or anything like that. I think that's been a great change, and if I can get an extra 10 or 20% XP, great. But I'm not going to cry if I don't.
Don't get too comfortable. Further
Yeah,
balance changes for solo XP are planned for next week's June 1st update.
yeah, that's what I mean. It sounds like they're gonna try and give us
Meet in the
more
middle, maybe.
XP. Yeah, that's what I said. If I get an extra 10 or 20%, great. But I mean, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna kill me if I don't get it. If they just leave it as it is.
Yeah, and you see, this is an interesting dialogue, I think, back and forth, because um, I think you have, like they said, three very key cohorts of Dungeoneering players here: casual, average, and highly skilled. And
Mm,
threading the needle on what that balance is and making
yep.
everybody happy is an interesting exercise. Not necessarily because of the XP and the
Mm.
questions that come from about what
Well,
the XP rate should be. It's just, how do you keep these three very different types of players happy? And if they
but I
can
mean,
do that, that's an important blueprint for this update and future balancing updates.
if they can do it, great. But I
If,
don't
yeah,
think you are going to be able to because there's such a vast skill difference between the three types of players. And highly skilled players, I mean, they're going to
I would
go
put
through that
myself in the
quickly.
average personally,
Yeah, I'm
looking
casual to
between
average. Yeah,
like 9 and 14 minutes for a large.
yeah. Well, and I'm looking between 20 and 30 minutes on a large when I run a large. And again, that is because I do open most of them. Uh, but if a highly skilled player can do it in 5 to 10 minutes, great. People who really don't like it, they can sit there and pay those players to drag them along on those runs and get their XP. If it opens up that marketplace for those people again, great. It gives people a reason to play and keep going and helping out those people.
You're talking about
Uh,
selling floors, right? Like used to happen.
Selling floors, yeah,
Yeah.
like used to happen. I mean, I have no issue with people who do it. I would never pay for it, but for people who got the money and want to do it, and great. I I don't think they're going to be able to have a great result in making those XP rates balance out between the three levels of players. I can't see how they have. Oh, if you're going to run a room in 10 minutes, you're only going to get a 200% bonus. But if you take an hour, we're going to give you an 800% bonus. I mean, why are you going to punish those people who are doing it quickly? I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. I'm a casual player. I'm not going to do it as quick as that. I'm not going to get it as high. It's the same as bossing. I am not good enough to take on this boss solo, so I'm not going to do it. Someone who can and gets the rewards, great for them.
Yeah, and,
So,
and and I think the biggest thing to walk away from this with isn't necessarily about dungeoneering or XP in itself. I
hmm,
think it's more about how do you have these conversations about balancing XP. And I think that's going to be needed, especially for the mid-level update, and definitely for the high-level rebalancing, because things like the sacred cows of the 2 mil thieving XP an hour are going to get hit probably
yep,
when they get there. So that's why I think it's important to learn with something like this, like dungeoneering.
hmm,
So hopefully they're taking notes.
yep.
Okay, that was a bit of a diversion from that patch note. I only had one other one to highlight. They added creeping ivy, willow trees, and eternal magic trees in Havenhythe as teleport options to the nature sentinel helmet. And the eternal magic trees have also been moved slightly to make it easier to walk around them. This is actually a
That's a good one.
very, very valuable change
Yep,
because
I like this one.
I'm not even looking at this from a woodcutting angle. I'm looking at this from a farming angle because that takes you right to the wood and the fruit patches there.
Yeah, but you have to wear the entire outfit. Wouldn't you be wearing your farming outfit?
It says Nature Sentinel helmet.
Yeah, yeah, but to use the teleport,
I thought you
you
only
have
need
to
the
wear
one.
the whole. No, I
Oh,
thought that too, but no, you need the whole outfit. So,
all right. I'm just
um,
going to confirm that quickly while we're
no,
here.
confirm it because I've tried to use it where I just put on my nature's helmet and I thought, no, I've got to have the whole thing. Same as the archaeology one. You've got to wear the whole outfit. You can't wear Silverhawks with it.
Oh, okay? That explains why you tried that, and that's actually a good reminder to get on the Silverhawk train and use those before time is up this year.
Yes, we've only got what? Actually, they haven't even announced another DXP yet, have they?
No, I think the next one will probably be November with how they wanted
Hmm.
to go on that.
So make sure by November, DXP, you will have used all of that stuff, all of your Proteans and Silverhawks and such, because they will be removed at the start of the next year.
Oh, you need to be wearing the full outfit to teleport. You're right.
Yes. I know I'm right. It's Pern. I'm like a god. I should be a god of Gillinor because I'm always right.
You sound like Mod
I'm gonna
March.
rep- I'm gonna I'm gonna replace Guthix,
Okay. All right.
the live and let die god.
I think that's probably enough of that. The RuneScape merch store is back. They have one store for US and Canada and one for the rest of the world. It's stocked with a basic assortment of items. They say they want to ultimately stock it up with more items as time progresses there. For that, key items there: Angelscape's items, a League's 6-pin for the OSRS side. But they say with this, this is just the start of the new, bigger RuneScape store with new apparel, collectibles, collaborations, and limited edition releases. And the opening collection features new Angelscape's pins and key rings, plus select lines popular on the old store. Over the month ahead, expect regular new drops and plenty of surprises as the store evolves and grows. All items are currently only available for pre-order, with shipping to begin in July once the new warehouse is set up. And this is the US plus Canada store, which means items will ship from within the US and shipping costs will be lower than the previous store. And this is what I always talked about. People always brought to me. I know some folks who were trying to buy the albums when those came up.
Oh, yeah.
What was it, last year or the year before? The shipping to, US or Canada was just astronomical, to the point that I think it was almost double
was for
from
Australia
the
too,
price of the item. So,
yeah. I bought both albums. Never listened to them, but just because I wanted them as keepsakes. But yeah, it basically doubled the price when you added shipping.
yeah,
But Australia's we are at the arse end of the world. I mean, we're so used to doing that off everything anyway. So it was sort of, oh yeah, whatever. I mean, if I buy a wrestling T-shirt from overseas, it doubles the price every time. So it's just something you're used to down here.
yeah, and they say Canadian customers can check the shipping costs on both stores, but there might actually be extra customs if you choose to ship from the UK versus shipping from the US. So that's why they did that, I think. And I think they have to, because they probably got a pretty big market over here compared to the rest of the world on that.
Well, I mean, the US is their biggest. North America is their biggest player base.
You think? I would have thought it would have been
Oh,
Europe.
Yeah. No, I would still say the North America with Canada and the USA together. I would say they probably just eke out the lead over Europe, then followed by sort of the rest of the world.
We might have to check that and see.
Told you, I'm Pern. I'm always right.
When
just believe me.
when the next set of
Yes.
financials come out. They got the Necromancy Omni Guard, so it's not 100% OSRS stuff on here.
Wise old man. Proper max cape.
A League 6-pin.
Yes, saw that one.
Limited edition. I wanted to get the one for last year's League, but it disappeared before I was able to. But anyways, speaking of leagues, are you done? How did it go?
I am pretty much done. I hit adamant. I was working towards rune and did a bunch of 50 mil in about half a dozen skills, and then I'm looking at the points and I'm going to actually hit rune. I'm gonna have to do a lot of bossing and those type of things and get lucky on drops. And I just don't like the combat over there. I tried, Saraxni or whatever it's called, the basic spider. It's fun enough. It sort of taught you a bit of prayer flicking and things, but I don't know. I just cannot get into their combat mode over there.
I wish the
So
one
I
thing
pretty much,
I wish we had Miscelin for this league um, was Scurious, because that was amazing combat training in the last league, and it was also a good prayer teaching boss. It's basically a giant rat.
yeah, no, I did hear about. I saw people running around with the pet, but yeah, I mean, I got my max cape, which was pretty much my one of my goals on there, and really love the way the Max Cape operates over there. Hit about 36,000 points. Shush dogs. Sorry, the garbage man is out the front. Hit about 36,000 points. I was, as I said, hit adamant, got all tiers unlocked. So overall, enjoyed it. But yeah, pretty much finished
Would you
now,
do
I
the
think.
next one, the next OSRS league?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll do any of the leagues because I mean they're fun, they're short, they don't, it's I like competitions and where they set goals for things. So again, I'll do it on the main account, still operate the GIM as a separate account. Um, but yeah, overall, probably I'd give it a solid, sort of 4 out of 5.
What would you bring over? What would you bring to
From
RS3 directly from OS if you could?
If I could, the guilds. Hunter Guild, Farming Guild, Woodcutting Guild. Their guilds are phenomenal. Their skilling side over there is so much superior to ours, but our combat is so much superior to theirs. I would
What you're
love to
saying is
see.
sacrilege to a lot of OSRS players, I'll have you know.
Yeah, well, of course, but I mean, I am me. I mean, I upset
Oh,
a
I
lot of
agree with
people.
you. I agree with
I'm
you.
always, yeah.
I don't
But
like
they're
OSRS combat.
no. No, I could the graphics I could get used to, especially with running the Rune Light. It sort of does highlight some of those things I can't really see properly, but yeah, just the way they've done their skilling, and as we said, they've done that horizontal rather than vertical.
I think one of my favorite
It's
examples of that is the Veil Totems in Varlamore for fletching.
oh, aren't they great? They're just fun. Just run
Because
around, get those little
it's not a
rewards.
mini game, but
Yeah,
it's not bank standing fletching, and at the same
yes,
time you have the ability to get unique and interesting rewards from it. But it also
exactly.
serves as an out for the fletching economy, because you could just go
Yep,
to the GE and buy
yep,
unstrung bows if you don't want to make them yourself, and use that as your
yep.
source of that.
Mm.
Effectively, how
And
this
that's it.
works is you run to a series of totem hotspots, carve a totem with a specific level of wood, and then you decorate it so that it attracts various animals, and you choose which ones to attract, and then you feed the totem to activate it. Fletching materials, so unstrung bows, unstrung stalks, those sorts of things. And
Mm.
then after
And
that, a
that's it. If
series
you've
of
made a
events
whole
walks around and
bunch,
gives you XP.
when you're doing a basic fletching, I mean, when I started that, yeah, I'd fletched a whole lot of oak bows and maple bows, sorry, and willow bows, and then had a look at these totals. Oh, great. Well, I've got these things already there, so I can just carve, drop those on there. Fantastic. And the different rewards, I love that the bowstringer thing that they've got as a reward over there. You can load it up with 10,000 bowstrings and then just bang bang.
Acts as a
All
spool.
the Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
see the
It
fletching knife?
Yes, the fletching knife, a holdable
And
knife.
this feeds into Veil Totems itself, because it makes it so that the action time for fletching bows is reduced by 1 tick.
Yep.
So what that means is that instead of 3 ticks, it's 2 ticks. The estimate with that is that you can fletch about 2,700 unstrung bows an hour versus the previous 1,800. So you feed this all in, and then you have that with the totems, and you get a very interesting fletching experience there for that. So when we say, OSRS skill pieces of content, it's things like the Veiled Totems and the guilds, as you mentioned, that I think would just be, so nice to have something like that in the game.
Well, Hunter Guild. I mean, I'm not a fan of Hunter, full stop, but the Hunter Guild, because I'm going out there doing it, it's similar to Slayer. I'm doing a task. I might get it in 3 kills. I might get it in 43 kills. But, you get that drop, you go back, you get a big chunk of XP for handing in the item that you get, and you get another task. It just makes it so... It's not mind-numbing. You're not just doing the same thing over and over and over again. The Quetzal whistle that you can get from there to go to the different areas and things. Their skilling side over there has really developed well, and obviously the majority is in Varlamore and the new areas that they've got over there, but still, it just makes things so much more fun. It's not mind-numbing. For some of those other skills. The Farmers Guild, which you have different levels that you can get to, and you grow your own redwood tree. There's things where you can fletch your own battle staffs and things like that. There's like a little skilling boss type, farming skilling mini boss down there in a cave underneath. They're just the farming contracts. It is really fun. A great way to get seeds, farming contracts. The Hespori
this
patch,
is
that's
what
the one, is like a little mini boss.
and I say this is what RS3 sacrifices at times by going for the fast zoom to 99 and having the game be balanced around the 80 to level 90 range for the 99 skills, and then the 95 to 110s for the 110 skills. That's exactly what we give up. Is we give up that broad mid-game for this. And when we say we'd like, a more broad mid-game, that's what we mean. And that's why I think it's always if people have the time and they're willing, it's always interesting to try an OSRS league for the reasons that you've just
definitely
highlighted. So for me, the thing that I would bring to RS3 is Boss Slayer, which is kind of like our Reaper assignments, but a little bit different. You still go to the Slayer Masters to get them, but you can be assigned a boss task instead. And I just think that it's a more interesting way of doing it than the Reaper assignments. But obviously that's established as is. And
well, now that Reaper assignments aren't once a day either, I think it's
you can kind of do that on
issue
our end
anymore
as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the variety that they have. I mean, if they ever did an RS4, I would take all the combat from RS3. Yep, and all the skilling from OS and just mash them together. But they've done it really well over there. And I mean, I still call it the official RuneScape private server, tongue in cheek, but it is fun. And if you do like your skilling, I would recommend anyone check it out and have a bit of fun over there.
I still think that for the next skills, I think RS3 should get sailing, and I think if there's going to be another OSRS skill, well, no, you'll take that back as soon as you start training sailing on OS.
Yes,
and OS should get a pull between Dungeoneering, archaeology, and summoning.
Yeah, summoning was funny because I'm running around. I'm going. You sort of when you're running around different things. Oh yeah, I can get. Oh no, I don't have a boost for that with my summoning pets and things. So, but yeah, it's they they're the same game, but they've got enough differences that you can enjoy both games together.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's curtains on leagues for us. I know we kind of just abruptly ended it a few weeks ago, but I finished around the Adamant rank as well. And that sent me
Yes.
back to RS3. That sent me back to RS3 and the wonder that is invention.
Shane loves his invention.
So I was
It's his
going
favorite skill.
I was going for impatient mobile for my magic legs. And if I just pull up the chances on that one.
So she may have sexy legs, but Shane has magic legs.
I said mobile. Oh,
No, you said for your magic legs.
right.
It's okay. I'm just being stupid.
So I was going for impatient mobile. And
Yep.
maybe I should have went for impatient devoted, but I wanted impatient mobile. And this is supposedly a 1 in 3 perk. It took me 5 shots to do, and probably about 4 hours to get. Because of the need to, level up more items to get the various Zerosian items. I went with Virtus, Book, and Wand. And
now this is on your main account.
This is on my main, so it's not too big of an issue because you could just throw money at the problem.
Yeah.
What I should have done, and I didn't realize at the time, and this is, again, something that people in the Discord will be aware of, is I had a set of Virtus armor sitting in my bank that was perked and ready to go. So I should have just leveled that up to level 9 and disassembled those, and that would have been my Zerosian components fixed. But I didn't realize those were in my bank until after I completed this entire endeavor of perking out my masterwork magic. And then, I'm just scrolling through my equipment tab, and I'm like, what's this Virtus mask and Virtus body and Virtus legs doing here? Perked with biting 4. Oh. So people might be wondering where my previous biting 4 came from. And I used an equipment separator to get that off of my Serenic armor. That was on my range set. So I have no idea when I did this initial set of Virtus with biting 4. I have no idea when I perked that, when I bought it. But it was just sitting in my bank at level 1, and that would have, solved the Zerosian component problem. But anyways, that's the sidetrack of the what have we been doing. I spent, however long it takes running through Shattered Worlds, with which I didn't until I hit level 8 decide that I was just had enough, and I grabbed an XP capacitor. But I probably spent this entire process of leveling up the items and running through the invention stuff, probably about 3.5-4 hours worth of time on it.
And this is why gizmos should be sold on the GE.
Or
at
something
least from
like
player
that.
to player.
Or something like that. Because this is a supposed 1 in 3 perk.
Yep.
Took
You
me
took
5
1 in
tries.
5, so it would have cost you. So, in other words, it cost you probably closer to 24 mil rather than 15 mil.
Exactly.
Yep. Plus all the time to get the components and break them down.
And I'm like, I could just, in the bosses where I want that, I could have just activated the relic instead and gave up a combat relic in that spot. Or I could have went with some other combination of that. But, by that point, after I bought the Virtus book and wand, I was committed to the bit. And I did it. So like you said, probably around, 20 to 24 mil in terms of component cost to get this 1 in 3 perk. So I am not the biggest fan of Invention out there.
No.
I don't know what could be done about it
I have
without
two sets of
ruining the item sync that it provides.
On
Yet.
on the GIMP account, I have 2 of my my Port's Armor sets augmented, but with nothing in them, just so it doesn't cost me anything for repair. Other than, it's a lot easier the cost to just use your charges rather than having to get more
absolutely.
plate or more
Absolutely.
sea singers. So they're augmented, but they've got no actual perks on them. Just for that reason, because it's just and especially on an Iron Man, it's just so hard once.
Right, and that's the thing. That was the main. How much PVM time would I have had to put in at Nex to do this?
Yes, exactly.
To get best in-slot critical chance with biting, and I guess even in that case Araxor, but even in this case just impatient and mobile.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if you even just look at a basic impatient setup, it's still 6 Zerosian and 1 Zamorakian component. So at the very least, that's Krill and Nex. So it's not cheap.
Correct. No.
And the other thing I want to point out, this is one of those odd perks that peaks at its efficiency to get at level 112.
Yeah, so when you go over that, you actually have less of a chance.
Yeah.
If you're 120, you are less of a chance to get it.
Well, it's still a 1 in 3.
Oh, well, yeah, some of the lower ones, you actually have to take your
But
invention
even then,
down.
with this, I mean, it's still, it has an impact on the other ones, but 1 in 3.7 versus 1 in 3.1.
Yeah, that's right. So it's still costs you an extra 2 or 3 mil on average if you are 120 than if you're at 112. It makes no sense.
So I don't know the solution to that. So what I'm thinking is at some point we'll probably have an Invention monthly bet where we'll hash out all these things and deal with it.
Yeah.
Because as much as Invention is doing a very good job, I think, at being an item sync, it's just such a big black box that unless you delve into the wiki or you have somebody to point you in the right direction, there's absolutely no way of knowing what to do with the skill in game, which I don't think is.
And
good.
even some of the components, it's an item sync, but is it on something that really needs an item sync that was already costing so much money? As you said, next items are needed for sort of your high level magics and your new masterworks and things like that. So, it's, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the way Invention works either.
Yeah. So, in any case, with that, the next step, of course, is to just slowly start rolling this out. And I'm very fortunate that we got the baby grimoire a couple weeks ago with the Dungeoneering stuff. So that's a nice addition to it. We'll lose 5 critical chance compared to Arathor's grimoire, but still, it's 100% serviceable in that regard.
Oh, exactly. Yep.
So, and then we get to the idea of needing to get the ecliptic components to get equilibrium for the necromancy gear, and it just becomes a whole snowballing effect of Invention is good, but at the same time, like in terms of what it does for the stats, but at the same time, it's just a huge black box that without the wiki, we would have no idea what we were doing. So that's largely been my what have we been doing. So.
Yep. Yeah, and this week I moved back. I've been running, as I said, a couple of dungeons every night, but I just rediscovered heists. I want to go for the weapons in there.
They're holding their value quite well, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's on the GIMP
Specifically
account
the
that I want,
first one, the
please.
Vault.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, that's
okay.
what I'm running. I just want the weapons out of there. My first run through, I'd forgotten totally how to do it. Took me 32 minutes. My second run through, I got back down to about I think it was 14 minutes. So obviously I'll get through there. But basically, I want the Ember Staff and the Gloomfire Bow just for some
Right.
higher level weapons
On my
on
main,
the
I
GIMP
want
account.
I want the Misalionor's Death Mask, which apparently is still
Yes.
521 mil.
Yeah. I want
Um,
that. I want that on the main. I don't care about it on the GIMP. I mean, if I get it, I'm going to take it. But yeah.
and people will probably note that we are talking about the game at this point. I've lined up a number of quests that I have to do because I am holding us back on quests, so that'll be one thing that gets started eventually. But when it comes to actually training skills, I don't know if I want to go in before the mid-level balance pass or after. So we'll kind of wait and see what's going to be in store for that.
Yeah,
So.
I'm close to max anyway, so the mid-level stuff is not really going to affect me that much on the GIMP account. But it's been fun. I mean, being that we're competitive, I think I probably would have liked to have seen a time limit on running that, and then a chance, run it for 12 months, and then okay, you get a chance. You can keep going if you want, just the way it is, or you can do a reset and then start again and have a new high scores and things like that just to make it all fun again. But it's still fun. It's still, there's still plenty to do on there.
And
So,
when we were talking about combat and magic on the main, when it comes to the game ranged, I was looking at the ranged masterwork stuff and just in general, the perks that would be needed for that. It's actually very doable on the GIM
hmm.
with masterwork ranged and the masterwork bow to work up to a point where if anybody wanted to use range, they could. So I might do that after Necromancy, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Anything else on the RS side?
No, no, just looking forward to seeing what they do with these avatars now. But it's uh it's all going well, all having fun. But yeah, just waiting on the next drop. I think we get a quest next week, and
We
then
do.
yes,
And then
and
that
then
puts
sort
us
of
in line
later.
for the dig site. But let's talk about some achievements then. You got 99 attack on the 27th on the GIM. Congrats.
Yeah, last night that was sort of unexpected, but yes.
Yahoo got 120 Dungeoneering on the 27th as well. Kinky Sliske got 99 Necromancy on the 26th. Then on the 25th, we have Wistcase with 99 Herblore and 99 Invention.
And moving on to May 24th, we have Sangri Sani with 120 Thieving, Smarvin hit 120 Smithing, and West Case again, 99 Farming. And then on the 23rd, EL8 or E18, 99 Necromancy.
Nicely done. And then moving on to our other achievements, you pulled the Slayer pet at 36.5 million XP on the GIM on May 26th.
I did, which was a big surprise because I thought I already had it, but it popped up. It popped up last night as well. Or the day
Nice.
before, actually. That one did, yeah.
We got a big one here. El Jefe
Yes.
Longbottoms
El
got
Jefe.
got the Dark Onyx core after 1,000 agility laps and over 700 herb runs on May 26th.
I like how rare it is still.
Yeah, and
That's a little too much, but still,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's better than needing to go like camp those stupid wilderness flash events that were there.
Yes. Get over 2,000 of them before you actually got your own, but yes.
Ridgeway completed God of the Grind, which is fully repairing the Het statue on the 23rd. Zant, at some unknown XP, got Jemmy the crafting pet on May 23rd. And Imperialis got 1.5 billion total XP on May 22nd. Congrats.
Congratulations all.
All right.
Now, Shane, you have an unusual pick of the week for yourself.
Is it unusual?
Something we would never expect Shane to choose.
Yeah, so I was sitting online this week, on X and whatnot, and also in the Clan Quest Discord, and I was wondering, where all these Star Trek title memes come from, and apparently there is a Star Trek title card random generator that has been thrown about. So the idea being is you choose your favorite series, and then you choose a background for it, and you can put in whatever you want for your title. So last week's was reworking Dungeoneering, and it creates a sense of what the Star Trek title card would look like if it were one of our podcast episodes. And you just get a good laugh from these sorts of things. Maybe the one with the comet is the best place to go.
I like that one. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what the best title we've done recently that would fit into this category would be, but you kind of get the idea. You can make it a meme, or you can just have something that you want to show off that is a little bit uncanny with what has been shown. There we go. Impactful Choices, our Leagues episode. And the interesting thing is that they also have a broadcast filter. So you can make it look as though you're broadcasting old 480p television.
You got to do the bodies of the Avatar one, see what it says about that.
Oh, we'll do that with the DS9. Have you watched any of these series?
The original series.
Okay. That's okay. I don't know if that one goes well for this one. Yeah, Voyager ones don't really go well for that, but you can lean into practically all of them for that here. There we go. Bodies of the Avatar. This one's good. Now that's the original series look. So I was just wondering where all these came from, and I thought, there had to be something that was generating these, and it can't have been, just somebody, throwing all of them together, but somebody actually made a website for it. Oh, there's a good one. All glowy for it.
That's yep.
No, that's the pick of the week this week. Just a random Star Trek title card generator that's been used for lots of memes online. Trek.epicrandomness.com, and you can put in your favorite text or maybe your favorite podcast episode or whatever you ultimately wind up choosing there for that. So yeah, that's the pick of the week. Oh, and Discovery. Yeah, that's always a good one. I don't know. We need more Star Trek. We need more Star Trek references on these shows. I know back in the day we used to have tons and tons of them, and they have, just gradually dried up as the people who were on this show don't do as much Star Trek as everybody else used to. So,
Earth in particular.
Earth, Trekkie, and even going on, well before that, there was always lots of Star Trek references. So maybe we need to bring those back. But that pretty much does it for this episode of Update. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can head on over to update.show/subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there: Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. And, of course, YouTube as well at youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe there. Greatly helps the channel out. Any kind of comments or engagements, constructive, unconstructive if you want. All of that is good on YouTube as well. But also, in the Discord too. We're just so eager to always hear what you guys have to say about the show because we like making it. So if you guys like what you hear, it definitely helps. And as people might be wondering what's going on with me this week, we're still suffering here from allergies in the portion of spring that we're at. That's why I had my eye at various points and why my throat is starting to go here at the end of this episode. Is just, I'm actually fortunate they cleared up because I was having massive sneezing fits this afternoon.
And me, I just sound this bad all the time.
But yeah, if you want these episodes delivered as they come to you, subscribe. Update.show/subscribe. Anything else from you?
No, it's been another fun one.
Rightio. Well, we'll be back in next week, of course, for Quest Week. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy Skype and all.